Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am your host of the BTC Mastermind. Welcome in. Jerry Loves Freedom. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're at the Bitcoin block height of 963,334. And the Bitcoin price today, guys, it is ripping. We broke the psychological number. Every 10,000 is a psychological number of 70,000, guys. Which means you have been demoted if you're buying satoshis right now, because I measure my wealth in satoshis, and the less I can get, it's not good for me. So this is bittersweet for me. I'm still in accumulation mode, and a couple days ago I was getting 1,500, almost 1,600 sats per dollar, but today you can get yourself still a great deal, 1,375 satoshis for $1. Welcome in, guys. Yo, bro, would you ever have a StreamYard for guests to come on? What's up, Alan King? Keep up the great work, no doubt. Good afternoon, guys. Ginger, hey, I saw you earlier, didn't I? Good to see you, Ginger. Lauren, hey, hello, everyone. Hey, Ginger. Hey, guys. What's up? Hello, masterminds. Hello. You guys are the masterminds. BTC, be the change. All you guys are going to be the change. Let me rephrase that. Good afternoon, Jerry. Yes. But you know what? If anybody can handle it, it's me, Ginger. You know, I do it every day. Hey, man, I was buying at 120K, so this is still cheap to me. Absolutely, Philip. Absolutely. I got a couple clips we're going to talk about. A lot of things going on, man. And again, when people say, oh, politics doesn't matter to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is the, self-sustaining honey badger. It doesn't matter. Well, I beg to differ, guys. I beg to differ. And yesterday, again, was historic crypto summit meeting. We're going to show some highlights of that from Trump. And then also Scott Bessent came out about he has some comments about long-term bonds. And we're going to talk about that. Because again, all this stuff in the fiat market, in the fiat world, it affects Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is the base layer of money. And it is operating on the outside of the system, but it's also on the inside of the system because, again, our dollars are screwed up dollars, whether it's a fiat currency from Canada or America or wherever you're at around the world. Let me know where you're at as well in the comments. It affects the Bitcoin price because, again, the only way the price goes up or down is money, quote unquote, fiat dollars going in and out. So let's look at Yahoo Finance. And it says Bitcoin price spikes after Trump meets with Bitcoin leaders, and pushes clarity out. Let's take a look at what they have to say here.
Crypto prices are rising this morning over renewed regulatory optimism following President Trump's White House meeting with crypto industry leaders yesterday. Joining me now for more on this, Yahoo Finance's Jennifer Schonberger. So, Jen, does that mean the Clarity Act isn't dead after all?
Well, I think this means that the Trump administration is trying to do everything they can to move forward and foster crypto in this country, as that legislation is actually stalled in the Senate. And as you said, the president convening a meeting on Wednesday with crypto executives, nearly 24, where he again called on Congress to pass this key legislation, which would establish long-awaited rules of the road that would allow this industry to really foster in this country. And the president said that executives really need to work with U.S. regulators. There were nearly 24 executives present at that meeting, including the CEOs of Coinbase, Robinhood, and the Winklevoss twins. Notably absent, however, were CEOs of the prediction markets. Also on hand were the chairs of the SEC and the CFTC. And this meeting coming on the same day, Wednesday, that the comptroller of the currency, Jonathan Gould, announced that the OCC is going to be finalizing rules for issuances of payment stable coins, and that issuers will be able to start putting in applications in January to begin issuing these payment stable coins. And this is critical for stable coin issuance. This was put forth by the Genius Act that was passed last July that establishes a federal framework for regulating stable coins. And this could also be a positive, believe it or not, for banks, the way the OCC has proposed this rule, because it had earlier said that third parties would be barred from paying yield on stable coins. Now, also this week, if that wasn't enough for you, the Securities and Exchange Commission also proposed a new rule that would allow startups to raise money through tokens without triggering securities laws. And this has been a long outstanding gap. Actually, in the SEC is now offering a roadmap for this, how one could raise money without triggering securities laws. They've offered some new exemptions there to try to grease the skids, if you will. And then today, the Commodities Futures and Trading Commission is going to have its first ever Innovation Advisory Council meeting, in which they are expected to talk about crypto as well as prediction markets and AI. Julie.
Jen, thank you so much. So we'll see if anything actually comes out of all of this. Appreciate it.
Right.
Wow. Things are moving, guys. Things are moving. And again, the SEC, aka the I can't say that on camera. They try to control things, and their grips on the financial market is loosening up. Okay. And the CFTC has a lot to say about the SEC. And again, I believe it's because of Trump. And again, I know Trump is not perfect, but he is our first Bitcoin president. Now, has he been perfect for Bitcoin? Has he done the strategic reserve? He started one, but do we have the Bitcoin Act? Did that go up through legislation? No. That's why I wanted to go up before, through legislation before the midterms. And also, are we going to buy that quote unquote 1 million Bitcoin, 200,000 Bitcoin a year for 5 years? I don't know, man. I don't know. But again, with all this stuff going on with the tethers and the Clarity Act on the edge, all these different quote unquote crypto situations going on, maybe. Now, this is from the Daily Wolf of Wall Street. He's showing highlights of what happened with the crypto summit aftermath meeting with President Trump. Take a look.
Video. We launched Project Crypto to modernize rules so that our financial markets can move into blockchain technology. I established the United States Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, making Bitcoin a permanent asset of the United States Treasury, which has turned out incredibly well.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Now, again, is that just talk? Is that just lip service? I don't know. But he loves that word Bitcoin, though, doesn't he? And we're going to talk about what brought the price up here in a second.
I also created the United States Digital Asset Stockpile to hold custody of all other digital assets, and that's exactly what it's done.
Exactly, Philip. And in order to do that, we have to pass, first we did the Genius Act, which ain't genius. There wasn't geniuses signing that. Let me just say that. But we need the Clarity Act to clarify what Bitcoin and crypto and stable coins are or whatever, so they can have quote unquote regulations on it. Can't regulate Bitcoin though. Not at the base layer. So we can get rid of capital gains on spending your freaking money, because that's what it is. White asked a great question here. He said, I'm attributing this to Besant's announcement yesterday. Bondholders need to rotate fast. The debt can no longer be sat on. That is so funny, because that is one of the questions I had. This is the question I had, Wyatt. Which had a bigger effect on the price, guys? Trump's crypto summit and his little press conference afterwards, or Besant's comments on long-term bonds, which I'm going to play here in a second. That was a big deal.
It's been amazing. 1 year ago this summer, I signed landmark legislation known as the Genius Act. I named it after myself. I didn't want anyone to. I didn't want to use my name, so I just called it the Genius Act.
You gotta give Trump. Trump is a freaking comedian, man. I just love Trump, man. I love Trump. The Winklevosses are sellouts. See Zcash. And Brian Armstrong. Brian, aka Lex Luthor Armstrong, is an altcoin casino boss. Going to have to see the concrete advancements from the White House before I give credit to the summit, in my opinion. All right. And that's what we're here for. We're here to give our opinions. I love it, brother. I love it.
Act, paving the way for widespread adoption of dollar-backed stablecoins. And that's worked out very well. Every single American benefits enormously from our country's status as the financial center of the world, and we want to keep it that way. We're leading by leaps and bounds.
How do these guys keep a straight face standing behind Donald Trump? I don't know. Because, again, this guy is funny, man.
We've gained so much in the last 16 months like nobody can believe, actually. Not only that, but we have more money being invested in the United States than any country at any time in history. Money's coming in by the trillions. Our nation's economic dominance drives trillions of dollars in investments, creates millions of jobs, and expands access, credit, and capital so that every citizen has a chance to achieve what we now hear a lot about, the American dream.
Big Lou Valentino said, the time has come. Yes, it has, sir. And we get paid tomorrow, Lou. Of course, when we get paid, we get our YouTube checks on the 21st. And, of course, the freaking price goes up, right, Lou? The guy on his left is holding it in, but it's cracking on his face. Yeah, I know. There is no way in hell I can stand behind Trump, man, and not laugh my ass off because this man is too funny.
Young people are looking for the American dream. They weren't thinking about that 2 years ago. New financial technologies are extending this American dominance into the 21st century, and that's why we're focused on creating a clear regulatory framework for pioneers and builders like the people that are with me here, so that they can do business with confidence on American soil. They don't have to go to other countries to do their business. We're ensuring that America remains the undisputed leader, not only in Bitcoin and crypto, but also technologies like prediction markets, artificial intelligence, and much more.
I love it. I mean, as an American, as a Bitcoiner, and all the above, I absolutely love hearing stuff like that. But see, there's another side of the aisle. And again, I'm not telling you to pick sides or nothing like that. But why do you think the quote unquote crypto people, Bitcoiners, crypto, all voted for Trump, right? It matters who you vote for, guys. And again, all Republicans aren't good. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is make sure you know who your lawmakers are, because again, if you don't vote the right lawmaker in, they're going to put some laws out that you ain't going to like. Hey, look, they laughed his ass off. Yes. Would love to see Trump lean into Bitcoin. He talked about it. While I'm still skeptical on this, I want the USA to lead the way. Well, see, and I tell people this all the time, guys. You got to understand, right? Trump is not the Bitcoin president, okay? I mean, he is the first Bitcoin president, but he's the United States of America president, and he's trying to protect the dollar, okay, before he has Bitcoin. He just wants Bitcoin as an asset. He may want to sneak it in the back door as a Trojan horse through the system. He may want to do that, but he knows he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He is Scott Bessent and their Federal Reserve chair, because the system is just screwed. My mom met Trump. She said he was nice and polite. He is a nice guy. I haven't met him, but I've been in the same room with him. He is a pretty nice guy. Let's hear what the great Scott Bessent has to say about buying back bonds, long-term bonds. And let's see if that affected Bitcoin's price. Take a look.
Securities yesterday, and joining us now in a CNBC exclusive interview to discuss is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Secretary Bessent, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Sarah, good morning. Good to see you.
So talk us through what you were trying to do here by announcing the increased size of the buybacks.
Yeah, we're trying to signal that we think that this is a thinly traded area of the market, that we're in August, and there's been a lot of corporate issuance that's influenced the market. And we believe that there are many underlying factors that the market is not looking at. And we are going to make a market in these. We routinely do buybacks, and we're going to increase the size of the buyback. And Sarah, I would note that it could be more than the $4 billion per issue.
Wow, $4 billion per issue. Break Nation Sports is in the house. What's up, bro? Haven't seen you in a while, man. He says definitely not happy with Trump so far this term. I'd obviously vote for him over Kamala any day, but I'm looking forward to some new blood and not anybody in his camp. Okay. We'll see who runs, bro. You know, my favorite is the true Latino because he's got like 6 different jobs, and that's Big Marco Rubio. But obviously, JD Vance is the favorite because he's the vice president.
Yeah, I was going to ask how big this could get. If the signal here is that you're not happy with the direction of yields, you know, they've gone back the other way. We've erased most of the Treasury rally that you got yesterday with that big surprise. So how much more are you willing to do?
Well, again, we have a big toolkit, so we'll see. And part of it is signaling here and to show that.
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for asking, man. Jared, how are you doing, buddy? I'm doing good, man. Thank you for asking, brother. I'm doing very well. How are you today, man? Jared, are you not one of Trump's big Bitcoin advisors, or should I not have said that? It's not public yet. No, that's a secret, man. Laura, you can't tell anybody. You can't say that out loud. I'm with you on Rubio. Yeah, I like Big Marco, man. I like Big Marco.
We believe that the yields don't reflect the underlying fundamentals. This Iran conflict, we will get on the other side of this. We don't know when, and we can talk about the economic measures we're going to be taking against Iran in a minute.
Sure.
We believe that the liquidity, especially in the 30-year point, is
how does buying
very
back
poor.
treasuries,
And we
long-term, not long-term treasuries, long-term bonds affect the Bitcoin price?
Announcing probably at the end of this week, beginning of next week, an increased focus on fiscal consolidation. And it's coming from President Trump. Russ Vought and myself will be examining both on the revenue side and the cost side what we can do.
Yeah, because that's where I was going to go and where a lot of the analysis is focused, as you know, Mr. Secretary, which is, strong signal from the administration on the buybacks, but, the fund.
Did you guys hear that question I just asked? How does the U.S. buying back long-term bonds affect the Bitcoin price? Does anybody know? Yeah. I mean, he doesn't announce it though. He doesn't say it out loud though. He's not one of those wokies. You know what I mean? He's the coolest gay man in America, to be honest with you, because he doesn't talk about it. But me personally, to answer my own question, which had a bigger effect on the price, Trump's crypto summit or Bessent's comments on long-term bonds? I think I would give. Let's read. I think it's definitely Trump for sure, no doubt. But let's see what Grok had to say about this. He said what the Treasury did. The Treasury announced it would buy back, purchase more longer-term U.S. government bonds, 10 to 20 year, 10 year to 30 year. How this affects the market. Bond yields fall when the government buys bonds. Demand for those bonds go up, prices rise, yields fall. Lower yields equal more attractive assets. When long-term interest rates drop, suffer assets like bonds become less attractive. Investors start looking for higher returns elsewhere. Money flows into riskier, quote-unquote, assets. This includes stocks, gold, and Bitcoin. I don't know if gold is considered a risk-on asset. And Bitcoin. Liquidity effect. Buying bonds injects cash into the financial system. More cash floating around often supports higher prices and risks like Bitcoin. Simple version for my audience. When the Treasury buys back long-term bonds, it pushes interest rates down. When rates fall, money starts looking for better returns, and Bitcoin is one of the places that money can go. That's why you often see Bitcoin rise when bond yields drop. So I think it's got about 15% to do with the price going over 70K, but the other 85 is actually Trump and the summit. Scott Besson is a weirdo. Oh, I meant to agree with your question, Jerry. I don't know anything about Besson's personal life. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think again, that's the answer. Me personally. That's how I see it. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is a real breakout or just a short, violent short squeeze? I don't know, man. Every time I think Bitcoin is breaking out, it just goes the other way. Or whatever I think Bitcoin is going to do, it goes the other way. That's why I DCA, man. I just buy every single day And I get sad when the price goes up, and I get happy when the price goes down because I get more sats, to be honest with you. And not financial advice, but financial advice. I suggest you do the same. Because again, when people get very happy when the price goes up, again, if you haven't been in Bitcoin more than 10 years or 8 years or whatever, I don't understand what you're getting happy about, to be honest. Lots of resistance at 73. Let's see that, Alan. Alan, somebody told me you may be a, I don't know if somebody told me that. Let's see. Lots of resistance at 73. I don't know. What do you guys think? I have no idea. You know, it's guessing games, and I don't play that. But Wyatt says, I am interested in hearing discussion on how Bitcoin can separate itself from other cryptocurrencies. XRP is pumping as well, for example. Why should someone who doesn't know the difference go to BTC? That's a great question, Wyatt. This is what I think personally, right? Because I'm the only one up here. I used to be a person that hated crypto and blah, blah, blah. I like crypto now. Not saying I buy it. I'm a Bitcoin maxi in my savings, Wyatt. But as far as crypto, I tolerate it because all roads lead to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is technically crypto, just like Trump is technically a politician, even though he's not. And Bitcoin is not crypto, but it is. But I think people usually that got into Bitcoin usually started off with cryptos, Wyatt. And so once they get into cryptos, what are they looking at, Wyatt? They're looking at the system. They're looking at the money printer. They're looking at the debt clock. They're looking at things that are broken, right? And then once they do that, then they start studying the other cryptos, right? So then once they know the problem, Wyatt, they look for the solution. Because there's only one solution to that problem. And I'll give you a hint. It ain't XRP. No one knows. We're not done with the bear market yet, in my opinion. However, I'm still buying. LOL. Yeah, me too. I'm buying. I'm like Sailor. I'm buying the top. Just saying, man. Just saying. Here's my next question for you guys. What needs to happen next for this move to continue? What needs to happen next, guys, for this move to continue? What do you guys think about that? If I had to bet on it, I'd say fake out and we retrace back to 62, 65K for a while. Okay, Alan, that's a good one. Inflation rates and CPI. Or CPI, I like to call it. This is the real inflation, ladies and gentlemen. The M2 money supply. That's the problem in our country, man. Right? That's the base layer right there. That's the base layer of the problem. If you look at the money supply, and then you look at a quote unquote stock chart, you see the same trend. All the stock market does is follow the money supply. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Agreed, Jerry. I asked because my friends hold XRP, and that's the question I always have to reflect on. I guess when you zoom out, BTC returns higher. To them, XRP is new and possible. Get rich quick. Yeah. Well, people that think about XRP, they're just thinking in fiat terms because they don't want more XRP. They just want the XRP to get what? They want more dollars, right? And there's nothing wrong with having dollars. You know, you need dollars to spend and to live and stuff like that. But as a long-term savings, you can't save dollars. So my job and your job and everybody in this chat's job is to what? Is to earn more, spend less, and put the rest into the hardest asset we've ever seen, and that's Bitcoin. We need a nation state or sovereign fund to buy Bitcoin for the next phase to take off. Okay, Alan. We need a nation state or sovereign fund to buy Bitcoin for the next phase to take off. That's pretty big. All right. I think that's more long-term. I definitely agree with that. But short to midterm, what do you think too? Is that the same thing, Alan? Hello, big dog. Hello, everyone. Spaceman. Spaceman is in the house. Spaceman, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate that. By the way, anybody from my channel, when I'm doing these videos, don't zap me anything. For me. Like, you know how you guys zap me sats? Somebody zapped me personally 21 sats, and I appreciate that. Onto my personal account. But when I'm doing these shows like this, volume on stream today is low. Had to crank all outputs to hear you. Am I low, guys? Because I can turn it up if you need me to. How do I sound right now? Do I sound low? Because yesterday I was pretty high and I turned it down. Tell me how I sound right now. So if you want to zap something, zap it to that QR code over there, please and thank you. Before Bitcoin, I never knew the FMOC existed. LOL. I know. I did because I'm a finance guy. I'm a finance major. ETFs aren't enough to push up the price. Speaking of ETFs, look what Uncle Larry did yesterday. Good point. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. It's a completely different way of thinking. It is, Wyatt. It is. But again, it takes a long time to get to this point, right? It took me years to understand what Bitcoin is, right? When you actually know what the system is and you know how hard and finite this money is, it's just, the system is just absolutely amazing, man. When you see it and you can't unsee it. 21 million Bitcoin, 2.1 quadrillion sats. That is it. No matter how much they want, millionaires, billionaires, nation states, the supply lever cannot go up. The demand lever will go up, but the supply lever can't. Sound fine to me. They're expecting XRP to be the next Bitcoin and do 100x. But since Ripple holds up to 42% of XRP, they will always rug pull you. Exactly, Philip. That is exactly right, sir. And again, show me a man's incentives. I'll show you what they want. Right? Everybody's got incentives. My incentive, personally, I'm trying to get as many Satoshis as I can. I measure my wealth in Satoshis. Do you believe in Jason Lowry's? Well, does this answer your question? Does that answer your question, Alan? I put my money where my mouth is, sir. That's just me, though. This screen is different than mine. Let me see. Put me over here. Stop screen sharing. Yeah, I definitely subscribe to that. No doubt. I read Soft War and didn't understand a thing. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's a tough book to read. I read it little by little, sir. You're right, Philip. On the surface, they seem the same, but the currencies are fundamentally different. It requires a deeper understanding to see why Bitcoin stands alone. I agree. Sounds good on my end. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. But you see this system right here, man? Do you see this? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And my final question to you guys, I had it written down here. If Bitcoin can rip this hard on headlines and liquidations, what does that say about how fragile or how powerful the current market structure is? That is my question to you guys. If this stuff can make the price go up like it is, what does that mean? I have my sound cranked to hear you today. Maybe a personal setting. Okay, let me turn it up a little bit. Okay. How's that sound? That sound a little better, guys? Or too loud? How's that sound? I got it on let's see. I got it on 150. I had it on 100. Now it's on 150. Too loud? Sound better? Anyways, guys, what do you think? Anyone holding XRP are suckers to me. Ripple holding that much is a red flag. I mean, I'm the same way, bro. You know, I keep my life nice and simple, right? I keep it nice and simple. All I try to do is simple, is this, real simple. I try to work my ass off. I sit at my desk here today, right here. I work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at my desk, making different videos, studying, watching videos, reading articles, whatever, uploading 3, 4, 5 videos. And then I try to create as much value as I can. Then I take that value and say, okay, where am I going to allocate my assets? Because money is nothing but energy, right? So what do you do with it? Well, you take it and put it in the best possible positions. You eat the best foods. You spend it to pay your bills, right? You do what you got to do to take care of your family. And then whatever you have left over, then you need to put somewhere to save it. Did you download the new Cold Car Firmware? They released a new edition today. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It shows to me that the money already knows where to flow when things are unstable in the market. Bonds, no good. Smart money will go to Bitcoin. It's an issue of understanding by the average person. Exactly, bro. I agree with you. How long is that going to take? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But anyways, as you can see, it was only me today. I appreciate you guys being here. It's going to be a short show. We don't do shows on Friday. So the Maple Bitcoin boys at this time, Friday at 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern, will be doing a show. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. Again, I'll be doing Bitcoin numbers and news tomorrow on my show. If you guys want to earn some free sats, come on over there. I do a morning show every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. And I just talk about the market and Bitcoin and break down the numbers and news for you. And I spin a wheel of Satoshi, and I give you Satoshis every day. And I do them based on the Bitcoin blocks coming out. All right. So guys, listen, BTC Mastermind. What does that mean? BTC means be the change. Be the change. Be the change in your circle and your family. And become the best version you can of yourself. All right. Work hard, work smart, be efficient, and be the best person and the best version you can be. And master your mind. All right. Do something nice for someone and be the best version of yourself. And remember, don't listen to anybody to tell you if they say you can't do something, don't listen to them. Whatever you can put your mind to, you can do it. All right. I never in a million years thought I'd be sitting here today, and I am. So whatever you can dream, you can achieve. All right. So BTC, be the change and master your mind. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, and as you guys know, I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace and love, guys.